So before we get started, let's take turn. Well, let me keep that up there. I'll get another piece of paper. I want you to think of a movie, a book, a video game, something that took place, maybe something kind of like this.
Jumanji.
Jumanji. So what did Jumanji have in it?
Big Rock.
No, I mean for characters.
Yeah, Kristen, that's who I was looking at. Okay, let's.
I was thinking of the old one with
so was I.
Robin Williams.
Yeah, Robin Williams.
Oh,
Yeah, there was one with The
okay.
Rock also. But Jumanji typically think of African animals, right? Giant wasps. Any kind of story
Flower.
coming together, maybe?
Plants.
Rhinoceroses.
Yep, rhinoceroses. They had a Jeep. If you want to draw a Jeep, I don't think anybody wants to draw a Jeep.
A lot of monkeys.
A lot of monkeys. Okay, so we've got characters.
A basement. How about a basement where they got sucked into the TV?
This is true, but there's no basement here.
Okay.
So we're thinking about what could populate this kind of a
Something like
background.
that.
So probably
okay.
after they went over into Jumanji.
Okay.
So we know we've got animals, we've got characters. What maybe happened in that movie that you could call a story point? Or not even a story point, action.
The fat guy got crumpled by a rhinoceros.
There you go. You could have
That's
that
action.
guy. Yes, Jack
Mean
Black.
Jack Black?
Yes. I remember that was the first shock where they got the.
Yeah, because the video game in that one, right?
Uh-huh.
Sorry if these are spoilers, people, but it's an old movie.
Nobody's seen it. You haven't seen it yet? Got crushed by.
So yeah, that's something that could happen. What else is something that could happen? What was one of the less exciting moments of the story where we're having character bonding?
The girl in the guy's body peed, and she talked about how much she liked peeing in the dude's body.
True, that would be a little hard to draw here, unless you want
Yeah.
to go for that. I remember some flirting happening, right? There's always boy meets girl. Right. And let's do one more. What did they have to do to get out of Jumanji? What was their goal?
Get a little statue or whatever.
So you could have...
Didn't they have to climb something and get up to the top of it or something?
Oh, you're right. I think it was a mountain.
Grab the statue and then
Let's
shout
say-
Jumanji!
Yeah, let's say there's treasure or something like that. Treasure hunting. Good. So what's another movie that takes place in a jungle or a temple or a castle?
Where's Tarzan?
Predator.
Predator I have not seen, but I'll take your word for it. Tarzan I
It
have
doesn't
seen.
really have
Disney
any buildings. It's mostly just like jungles, and then it's like the predator and like some military guys.
True. So Tarzan, characters we have, Tarzan obviously, Jane, gorillas. What's some things that happen in that movie?
The dude fights a gorilla to the death.
Yeah.
Yep, you can have fights. I know Tarzan has to fight the jaguar, right?
Yeah.
So we have fights in general. Anything else happen in that movie?
Through trees.
Yeah.
Swinging through the
swinging
trees.
Through the trees, yeah.
Sometimes carrying Jane.
That's right.
Yeah.
More lovey-dovey moments.
Remember when he like swung from the trees with like his toes? Like he's swinging from vines, like just
Yes.
holding on the vines with his toes.
So, we've got ideas. If we draw this exact thing, and I use Disney's Tarzan and Disney's Jane, I'm copyright infringing, right? So we got to change this somehow. Let's say we take swinging through the trees, but I have to change the characters in some way. How to do that? First one.
Tarzan is actually beyond copyright.
Yes, but if I use Disney's design.
Disney, you're right.
If I use Disney's design. If I
But we
make
can
my
have
own
our own Tarzan.
Yeah, if you make your own Tarzan, you're fine. Because it's, yeah, like Kristen says, you won't get copyright infringement. But
Or you
Disney does have a copyright, so I
You
can't
can
use Disney.
Tarzan, an anime kind of guy.
Oh yeah, they had a series on Netflix where he was a teen.
I
and he-
remember looking at that one, yeah. So you can change the
great.
style. We've talked about style and character design a little bit. What else could you change? You can change his species. It can be a monkey going through the tree. It could be the mouse version of Tarzan, right? It could be a chameleon version of Tarzan.
You can make a jungle girl instead
You
of
can
a-
make Tarzan a girl,
Yeah.
right? You can do lots of things to change the thing. Let's try something from Jumanji. We've got fat guy crushed by rhino. So we maybe have to change some things. Instead of a rhino, what else could crush?
elephant.
Elephant. We're still kind of sticking with Africa. Let's say it's fantasy. What could crush somebody?
A dragon.
Dragon.
dinosaur.
Chimera,
Chimera.
Manticore,
Yeah. Manticore.
One of those,
Wyvern.
the columns could fall down. You could get
A
crushed by a
column can fall
column.
down.
A
It's like
T-Rex.
You could do dinosaurs. You could do a T-Rex. So now, let's say we're doing a T-Rex. Who's probably going to be the person getting crushed?
The Rock.
But we
Yeah,
can't do
girl.
Jumanji, because Jumanji is,
Another
Something-
dinosaur.
you can do another dinosaur, you can do a caveman. If it's, what was that one where like cowboys and dinosaurs are in the same movie?
Oh yeah.
I don't
Right.
remember that. Somebody please explain.
And then there was one with lizards in Western
Lizard
gear.
and Western- Oh yeah, I think
That's the
that.
one.
Mhm.
It was cowboys and aliens, I think. But
I mean, it's cowboys and
So
aliens,
it's Night at the
I knew
Museum.
what you guys were
right?
talking
Night at the
about.
museum. That's a good one too, Night at the Museum. So
Oh,
let's
yeah.
say we chose the dragon. Who's a character that might go along with a dragon?
A
A knight.
knight, a princess,
There you go, knight, princess,
dragon tamer,
dragon tamer.
one of their, I want to say like a loyal servant, but I feel like I'm going into a D&D thing.
Yeah. So that's how we're going to start with something we know. Jumanji, Tarzan. We change some things so that it's not the same and we don't get copyright infringement. And then we can plug it in to our background. So I'm going to give you guys 10 minutes. I would say 5 minutes, but I know that's a little short. So we'll say 10 minutes. I want you to do this by yourself. What are you going to do? You're going
A
to
background?
No, not a background.
ideas.
This is what we're basing off of. So we're going to have columns, bridge, foliage. Again, you can leave part of it out. That's fine. But don't do a story that takes place in a ballroom because we aren't going to be drawing a ballroom today. So something similar to this background. Oops, I should say movie or video game or book. Pop culture. That's something similar to that.
Yeah, I'd love dragons, but I think I want to like mix it up a little and do a dinosaur.
Do it, that's cool. 2, you're going to change some things from that story. If you have more time, you're going to look up any references you might need. So Michaela mentioned a dinosaur. She's probably going to want to look up a picture of a dinosaur because I'm not going to be getting into that.
Yeah. Hey, have you heard of like the new Spinosaurus?
There's a new Spinosaurus?
No, I mean they did like they were messing around with the bones and they found out that like Spinosaurus apparently like not only hung out in the water way more of its life than they originally thought, but also it has more like a, I want to say tadpole-esque tail.
Oh.
Yeah, it's neat. And a bunch of people are hearing about the news and like drawing different images of the
Oh,
new
what it could've been?
Spinosaurus.
Cool.
Yeah, it's cool. Man, I remember, like, part of me wishes I still had, like, those reference images for, like, that T-Rex guy that I drew a long time ago.
Oh, yeah, I remember him.
Yeah, because I had some good images for him.
Mm-hmm.
that I don't anymore.
Back to Google. You'll find another good one. So we're trying to figure out what the characters and the action are, right?
Yes.
To go on this background. So we need characters and action.
Hmm. Do you guys know what that do you guys remember what that one dinosaur is called that's like a T-Rex but it has horns?
Mega something? Megasaurus?
Mega what?
Mega something? I think it's a mega something.
I'll look up T-Rex with horns.
Yeah, I'm sure the internet will know. So I have just under 8 minutes.
Oh,
You might want to think of 2 or 3 ideas. Sometimes your first idea is not your favorite idea.
it's the Carnotaurus.
Carnotaurus. Never heard of that one, but
Me either.
maybe they renamed it. I don't know.
Sounds like carne asada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, science is fascinating. I think I might do one of these guys because you've seen T-Rexes like a billion times, but you don't see Carnotauruses a lot. Oh, so it could be 25 to 26 feet in length. I was hoping for tall, but whatever.
Ooh, look at those cool ideas. Don't look at Betsy. It's just,
Depressing.
well, no, but it's distracting.
I didn't know she was doing anything. Okay. So,
I was trying to do
yeah.
it silently. Let's think up a couple more here.
Oh, they're a lot smaller than I thought they were.
Of course, you're an artist, and being an artist means you can change whatever you want.
Yeah, true. Like, it turns out that, like, the freaking, like, raptors are way smaller than they are in Jurassic Park.
And they probably made them bigger because they needed them bigger to be scary.
Or, like, you know, like, outdated science.
Could be that too.
I know they made up an entire, like, really new dinosaur for that, it was like that one thing that was like a raptor that had like it was like a frilled lizard where when it kissed it's like the frills like what I'm like
Yeah, like the lizard.
oh hush, the dogs, it's so quiet around here, the dogs hate it when they hear weird noises.
Just doing their job, right? Security.
Yeah.
About 4.5 minutes left.
Yeah.
Looking at the picture to think, where does it fit? Because, you know, what I'm thinking of, how can it fit on top of or within or overlapping? And it's tricky because the picture's so full.
Yeah, exactly. So we're definitely going to take out some of this. Or maybe if your action takes place on top, then you'll move the whole thing down a bit.
That's just what I was thinking, because
Fill up more of the sky, yeah.
the bottom's boring, but the action might not want to be there.
Yeah.
I suppose you could also push everything back and have more foreground action too.
Yes, you could.
Betsy.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on feathered dinosaurs?
Cool.
Yeah.
And they're fun as an artist. You get to add some texture instead of just scales and feathers.
Yeah. Yeah, do you know that like dinosaurs are like alive in Dungeons and Dragons?
Dinosaurs are?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw them in the Monster Manual, so I guess it's for people who want to do a time travel campaign or just do
No,
it.
they're not like dead. They're like living creatures. Like they just live somewhere in wherever like the world is.
I mean, there's like so many different worlds in Dungeons and Dragons. It's like everything exists on different planes.
No, they live on the plane that's like it's like
Yeah, you can, but like in my campaign, there's no dinosaurs.
okay, yeah, true.
But definitely the option is there if you want dinosaurs and people to live side by side. Wasn't there a TV show? Dinotopia or something?
Yeah. I think I saw that. I remember that was pretty boring.
Yeah, it didn't last long, but it was a neat idea.
Yes,
Yeah.
the idea was good, but they didn't have a good story.
Yeah, I remember I was listening to like this campaign, and there was this circus. And like it took place in a circus, and all of like the circus animals and the beasts of burden were dinosaurs. It was
Yeah.
cool. The story itself was pretty like, but I thought like the dinosaurs just being there were cool, and that they were like halflings wrote them, I believe. I don't know, it's cool. Anyway.
Yeah. "30 seconds!" And time is up. So let's hear what you guys came up with. Remembering that there's no good or bad ideas. Ideas with potential.
So I thought of King Kong. So I had apes and dinosaurs, and then I sort of changed those into dragons and monkeys, maybe.
Yeah, that could be a story.
And I like the idea of a captured, all chained up.
Oh.
Either the dragon or an ape or something, all chained up with being hauled on a sledge, maybe.
Nice.
Maybe the monkey will pull it.
Oh. You could have
Pull
that.
a chained dragon. And I would think about putting it across the top there.
Yeah, everybody across the top here and then maybe ignore all that boring stuff down there.
Something.
For sure. How about you, Michaela? You're still going to go with your dinosaur? Where do you think your dinosaur is going to fit in?
I don't know, it's like, I'm not that creative. I'm thinking it's just gonna be the old classic, they're driving, like, down a bridge trying to escape the dinosaur.
Oh, so you're going to have, something running down the bridge and then something chasing it?
Yeah, because part of me was like,
Chase is
oh, this
always
is cool,
good.
but then suddenly I realized that it's like, oh, geez, this isn't original at all. Oh,
There is no original.
Chase
Remember
is
that.
always good.
There is no original ideas anymore, so you don't even have to worry about being original. It's like trying to be perfect. You don't have to worry about being perfect because nobody's perfect.
yeah, true.
But you got to find an idea that you're going to like, because drawing is hard work and you want to like your idea as you're going. So if you don't like your idea, for sure change it, but don't throw it out just because you think, oh, that's not original, I got to be original. Don't even worry about it. Stephanie, I saw you hold up something. What do you got?
Well, I saw something like this when I was in Rome. It was the Colosseum.
Oh,
So I'm drawing Colosseum with
Oh, neat.
lions walking up there, maybe.
wow.
Oh, yes.
You're really going for it. I like it.
When I was in Rome, there were a bunch of cats there. They were old, scruffy, mangy cats. So, I mean, hundreds of them. So, yeah, that I remember that. That was like this.
Draw less than 100.
Thousands
Yeah.
of years old. Yeah.
How about you, Karen? You have anything you want to share?
Well, I was brainstorming more of Greek
Ooh.
Good idea.
with the columns and all. And
Yeah.
originally I started off with Angel.
Mhm.
Angel with Fred after she died and became, what, Iliara? Whatever.
Yeah.
And this reminds me of when she went back to her throne and everything had been destroyed. So I was
Oh,
thinking
I
that.
can see it.
I like it.
And then I also thought of like Xena and Gabrielle and fighting, sparring.
Oh, yeah.
And that led me to Hephaestus and Aphrodite. And
Oh, those are great.
then I was thinking something with his blacksmithing and fireworking. So
Nice. You got plenty of ideas. Love it.
thank you.
That is a great idea. One other thing, ideas can be stolen.
Yes.
I'm just saying that.
And it's a great form of flattery.
Yes. There you go.
Just saying.
Kristen, you're subtle. Let's just say you're subtle. Like a sledgehammer. Subtle.
Subtle, yeah. I thought maybe I could do Robin Hood staking out a coach. I could put the coach up top here and have Robin Hood and the gang hanging out down there. But instead of Robin Hood, it would be maybe an Indian woman leading her lady tribe, and maybe the coach is pulled by elephants instead of horses. That might be fun.
Yes.
Cool, fun.
Or I was thinking of the Princess Bride for some reason. And there's that awesome fight between Inigo Montoya and Wesley. And instead of those guys, I could make them elven princes or something. Or thinking of Lord of the
11
Rings.
princes. I thought you were going to have like 11 princes.
Oh, 11 princes. Sometimes I do that.
That's a lot of drawing.
I know, right? I could have 11 princes just fighting it out. Yeah, you know what? We could put that in there too.
Yeah.
11 princes all fighting. Or Lord of the Rings when they're walking to Mordor, like for the entire first movie. But instead of Lord of the Rings characters, maybe they're samurai, and I had kind of the same vein as you, Kristen, a caged animal that they're protecting, maybe a nine-tailed fox that's supposed to have magical abilities, something like that. So you've got ideas, and then you have to try to pare it down to what you're going to do. But we're going to go ahead and start drawing in some of our background. Now,
Using our idea or using, I'm sorry to interrupt, using our idea or using this?
Background.
yeah, yours, Stephanie, is very different from this one, huh?
Yeah.
So you might just start drawing your own.
I'm trying to do the doors like this.
Oh, like
Yeah.
these?
The portals, yeah.
Okay. So
But I'll just start there. I'll start with that.
you know what I think we'll do? We'll start just by practicing these elements individually.
A good idea.
Good
And then
idea.
you guys can arrange them however you need to, and then we'll do that. So I'm going to grab a piece of paper.
This thing has got its single perspective, but the eye line is right in the middle, so you're looking down at and up. You're looking both down and up.
I think it's about right here is the horizon line.
Really?
Because I can see the top of this, but
Yep.
I can't see the top of this. So we know it has to be in between this. That's how you can always tell where it is. You're looking for what can I see the top of and what can I not see the top of. I can see the top just a little bit of these, like little steps. Let me zoom in. I'm so far away. There we go. Whoa, maybe not that close.
Yeah.
So we can still see the top of this step, but then we can't really see the top of these. They're kind of flattening out. So that's why I'm guessing it's somewhere.
Well, you're looking up into that broken arch, so it's got to be a little below that.
This one I think is falling over because everything's leaning.
Oh, right. So it's sideways.
I think that broke and went sideways.
Yeah, I see that. So
Yeah.
that's not going to help us, but the tops of the columns help us.
So that's the first thing we're going to go over. Horizon line. What does it mean? Where should you put it? Let's back up here. So horizon line is going to be the line that divides, we say, the sky from the ground to the ocean, but really what it's going to mean for you, can you see the top of something or can't you? Over here we can see the top of something, and over here we cannot. So thinking about my story, I think I'm going to choose, I think I'm going to go with the samurai, but I might not do the cage. I'll do something else that they're protecting. I'm going to do the samurai. So do I want to see the top of the pathway where they're walking, or do I not? If I don't want to see the top of the pathway, I have to stick it above the horizon line. Let's say this is one of those arches, right? I won't see their feet. I'll just see them walking. If I want to see where they're walking, I have to stick my arch below the horizon line. And now I can see their little feetsies. And they're walking here. So real quick, I want you to do a thumbnail, meaning you've got your piece of paper. You say, oh, my paper's going to be like this, or my paper is going to be like this. We're just planning out, and you're going, if I stick my horizon line here, where do I want my action to be? Just looking at these two, I think I want to see the top of my pathway, so that means I'm going to have to stick my pathway below my horizon line. These are just doodles, remember, we're not doing anything fancy right now. Just doodles. I want you to do at least 4 or as many as 10. And try putting the horizon line in different places just to see what happens to your story and your placement when you change things. If you happen to have a colored pencil, sometimes I just mark my horizon line in a different color so I remember what it is, and it's like, that's not the ocean.
So this top left one, you've got, what are those lines? No, I see the horizon line. Are those other horizon lines down there, or just the top of the
This is the stone bridge.
A stone bridge, okay.
Yeah, this is going to be a stone bridge here. If I chose this one, I could put like a castle in the back. Whoops, this is Japan. There we go. Some kind of Japanese castle on the back. Oh, we're not drawing Japanese castle, sorry. It was too fun. I started going off on a tangent. Got to stick to what we have here. Columns, bridge, archway, rocks, foliage. And then just for practice, put in a column or two, and I want you to be aware if the horizon line is below the top, you will not be able to see it. I don't care where the perspective lines go, I just want you to get used to the sensation of if a column is below, then we will see the top. I don't care what shape it is. If it's above, we're not going to see the top. All right, let's start drawing some of these elements we get to work with.
Betsy, go back just a second. Just a second.
Just go back a second. There we go.
Thank you. Thank you. Below horizon line. Okay, I got it. Thanks.
You're welcome. Let's start with the easy stuff. Foliage. What we're going to remember about the foliage is that it looks best when it's grouped. You guys remember that way back at the tunnel picture? We were talking about grouping. So we've got basically the same shape of leaf all together in big groups. Down here we've got this long skinny leaf next to the more long skinny leaves all in a group. This one here we've got this grassy shape all grouped together. What else? We've got some big jungle leaves in the back. Some kind of like palm tree shape over there, grouped. Regular kind of squiggly tree lines in the back over there. So I'm going to take down a couple of shapes that I like or I think I'm going to use in my picture. If you don't want to copy direct off of here, you can always look up flowers on the internet and decide, hey, I like that shape, I like that shape. I like these kind of leafy shapes, so I'm going to jot down a few of these. Oops, that one got a little out of hand. I like those grassy ones. I think of this part kind of like when you're gathering ingredients to bake something. Am I going to make chocolate chip cookies or peanut butter cookies? What ingredients am I going to need? What else do I like? Kind of like these ones. And remember, you're not stuck with these. If you start drawing and go, you know what, I kind of need another plant shape. Too bad I didn't get enough. No, you can always go back and get more. But take down 4 or 5 that you like. You're still working on plants, that's okay. I'm just going to shift my paper and move on to, let's do the columns. So your columns are going to be made up of 3 lines, vertical, so that you can distinguish one side from the other side. If they are below the horizon line, you're going to see the letter V, a very wide V, but a letter V. And if they are above the horizon line, it'll be the opposite. You go, but Betsy, mine's right on the horizon line. Then it will be flat. One other little note, if you have a taller column, substantially taller, the angle is going to get more acute, more sharp, more pointy. Oops, this one would be the same because it's right there, but this one. Basically, the farther away you go from the horizon line, the pointier it's going to get until it gets so distorted, it'll look funny. That's what happens in fisheye lenses. Buildings in New York or wherever will get super, super pointy tops. That's because they're getting so distorted. You'll also, tongue stumble there. You'll also notice that columns never have a direct connection to the ground. They don't just go smooth into the ground. Pretty much all columns will have some kind of base. So this one has kind of squared off bases to match. So all we have to do is keep repeating this V, but then extend the sides a little longer. You put a little peekaboo line in the back. And there's the top of my base. But it has no thickness. So then you have to put in some vertical lines for thickness. And you can repeat this as many times as you want. You can see on this one they did it, what, 1, 2, 3, 4 times maybe? 1, 2, no, 1, 2, 3, 4. But yeah. You can do it.
Betsy, the angle of the things that you add have to be sharper and sharper because they're going farther and farther below the horizon line?
In theory they do, but they will be so incrementally just a little bit more angled you won't even notice it.
Got it.
It's fine if you just want to copy and paste over and over and over.
Okay.
You can get creative. Instead of just doing a straight line, you can start doing a curved line. Ooh, look how pretty that looks. You got to get them the same on both sides, which I did not do. But for the demo, let's just check out how that looks. The one in the middle is still going to be straight. Don't worry about that one.
Yeah, I feel bad because I was doing something and then, like, when I was going through, I realized, oh, wait, I don't think this framing looks very good at all.
It happens. Don't worry about it. You just keep going. If this seems too hard, you can just do a diagonal one. Because in general, the base is going to be wider so that it's more secure, right? And then a lot of times, these columns are holding something up. So there's some sort of ceiling on top. That's why we need more sturdy shape on top as well, so we can go up. It's the same thing. We'll take this, go again a little longer, tuck it behind, draw some kind of lines outward, same lines, do it again, get fancy, and you can make all kinds of columns. Let's say you're going for the ruined, cracked look. you can start putting in little creeping lines, almost like you're drawing vines. Kind of crawled up and around, took out a chunk right there. Takes a lot more time to do destroyed architecture than it does brand new architecture. But if that's part of your story, that this needs to take place in ruins, then it's worth your time to put in these little details. Any questions about columns, or does anyone want to see a cylindrical column?
I want to see a broken off column.
A broken off column. We can do that. Would you like it above the horizon line, below the horizon line? Doesn't matter?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter, okay. We'll stick in our column here. 3 vertical lines. Because it's below, we're going to cut this off. So we started with a column, but it got broken. So we're going to start with where did it break? So you'll do your little crack line all the way around.
This is a cylinder one?
No, Kristen wanted one that's broken off.
Got it.
So I start with my whole shape, and then I start cracking it all the way around. Almost like when we were doing that eggshell with your little baby dragon. You erase what you don't need. And then if you want to put a few more little texture lines of where it broke off in there, you can do that. If it broke above the horizon line, we won't be able to see the top as much. But because it's uneven, we might see a little bit of it. So something like that maybe, where we can see just that much of the top.
Got it. Okay, that's cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. It is almost 6, so I'm going to move along to the archway. Or the bridge. Let's see, should we do the bridge part first? No, let's do the archway. So we've got a general arch shape. And it's part of a wall, so I will indicate the 4 right there. First thing to do is double your lines because we're going to put in these stones, like the keystones, archway stones. So I'm going to double my line all the way around. And we're going to think of this like a clock. If I put a dot right in the middle, and this minute hand goes up and starts ticking around. Tick, tick, tick. That's one way to put your stones in. Once you have those initial guidelines, you'll probably put another line right next to it so it looks like there's some mortar of some kind or mud, something that stuck these stones together. just because we did the clock method doesn't mean you can't come back and throw in some different angles. These are just stones, remember, and they can be a variety of shapes. Probably just the real important part is this section of the arch where you do need that keystone to kind of keep everything in place. But on the sides, you can do whatever you want. Then we're going to take this side of our arch and copy it over here so we can see how thick this tunnel is. Let's say it's a really super long tunnel, goes on for miles. You won't need this. You'll just have the ground line, and this tunnel will go on forever. But if it's just a short walkway like this one, or a narrow, I should say, then we'll see that other edge. And this will be the underside.
Yeah, in my drawing, it's like the dinosaur. It's like a sort of a chase scene, but instead it's like the dinosaur got its head stuck in the archway while the person is escaping.
Ooh, neat. Then we've got this pathway on top. I'm going to follow whatever my ground line was and just copy and paste that right above. Duplicate. Then you can take this line right here that showed how wide it was, and you can duplicate. You can even measure with your pencil if you want. Boop. That will tell you where to put the other edge of your pathway.
How do you know where to put that line?
This one doesn't matter. You can put it anywhere. You can put it over here, you can put it over here.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't matter where. But this looks kind of boring, so we're going to add in some individual stones. We're going to use that same line to just start dividing up these stones. It's either going to follow this line, this edge, or it's going to follow our depth line that way. And you can start dividing these up however you like. You can throw in like triangle stones, but it's a little more challenging. So that's up to you if you want to take that on. In general, it looks nice when you do some different divisions. So when I have just two big stones here, having the next row divided up into smaller pieces just looks good. These are just guidelines, of course. We would come back and start thinking about rock texture, kind of gritty, kind of wiggly. Might have some little pock marking or some cracks.
I don't have to think. I've been doing pavers for 2 weeks now in my backyard.
There you go, real life experience, right?
Yes.
Your art.
And they look kind of like this.
Let's say there's a stone missing. How can I do that? Add in a little corner line there. And this one just went missing.
Oh, look at that.
Weeds grow everywhere if you want to add that little dandelion poking up. Will to survive is strong. Use some blades of grass. But what does this indicate? It indicates nobody was here to take care of this place. So this is more like the ruined pathway. Want it to look new, no weeds, everything a little bit crisper, less texture on the stone that's pockmarky. It would probably be more straight like this, sharp. And I don't know about you, but I might feel a little unsafe walking on a path that had no fence or barrier or something from falling off. So if you want to put in some columns on the side or some kind of guardrail, depending on your genre, on your time period, you can stick those in. All right, so let's do a little review of how I go about composing my drawings. If you've already got an idea and you want to get started on yours, go for it. But if you're a little lost on where to begin, I will show you where to begin. First off, you pick your paper and you pick your borders. Meaning if you want to do a square drawing but you don't have square paper, you just cut it off, right? So your borders, what kind of borders are you going to have? Just so you know, vertical tends to be more dynamic. Horizontal, more peaceful. Meaning if I had a picture of the ocean here and a picture of the ocean here, for some reason, horizontal just in human psychology looks more peaceful. But you're like, wait, I have a chase scene and I need space.
Right.
That's okay. Just like overlapping is the strongest drawing principle, action, well, your story will be more powerful than the page layout. So it's fine if you want to do something actiony and you need it horizontal, that's fine. Square tends to be nothing. It is just stable. So choose your borders. There is no wrong answer. Two, you're going to place your focus. What is your focus? What do you want people to look at? If you want them to look at the dandelion growing in the path, that's fine. But where you place it will direct people's attention. So we have the thing called the rule of thirds or the golden rule. Meaning if you put a tic-tac-toe on your paper, on your composition, I'm trying to make this even, but it's probably not. And you choose one of the intersections to place your character or your story point. I knight thee, Sir Dancelot. Let's kneel there. Notice the important parts of the story, this guy getting knighted and this guy's face, are both falling on intersections. Do all of your characters have to be on intersections? No. In fact, it's kind of a joke that the better the artist you are, the more you will not do this. But it's a good place to start because it works. So don't be ashamed to use it, just don't feel locked in. Like, oh my gosh, I have to make sure it's on an intersection. If I put my character over, let's say here, and the rest is all scenery, that's fine. No wrong answers. Placing your focus. So for mine, I'm going to have a horizontal paper. Put in my rule of thirds. And my story was samurai walking, but really they're protecting something, so maybe some princess. I'm going to put my princess walking here. I'll have my pathway, and she'll have a samurai back here. I can't see his head, that's fine. More samurai here in front. Don't block her face though, so this guy's going to walk a little more forward. Maybe another one over here. I'm going to color her in so I remember that she's the princess. After you have placed your focus, number 3, fill in the background or the environment. I like to say environment because that sounds like it's surrounding your characters, where background just sounds like it's a painting that you threw up in the back. Environment. When we think of this, we want to make sure that we have a background, a midground, and a foreground. So your midground is generally where your focus is already. Your foreground is going to be something that is very close to your camera. Maybe some weird plant is right here. So that will push them a little bit back. And then the background back here, it can be sky, it can be as easy as clouds. Or if I want to do something a little more challenging, I can get my archway in here. Maybe there's another road up here, another path in here. Maybe there's ivy growing up the walls. Something you want to keep in mind though, you want to keep your focus fairly isolated. You don't want to just come in here and cover her all up with leaves and stones and broken columns and things like that. You want her to have some space isolated. And again, you want to do from 4 to 10 options. There's one. What happens if I flip it around? She's on this side. And the horizon line is low, so we don't see their feet. Samurai, swords. Plants, or a broken column right here. Archway. There's 2.
Ooh, I like 2 better already.
See, sometimes your first idea is your worst idea. And you might think, oh, I know I want to do it sideways, but you know what? Just try one, the opposite orientation, just to make sure. You never know. Something great might come out of it. And let's see, I did a low one. Let's try doing a higher one.
Oh, yeah.
Coming right at you on this one. Let's see, there's a guy behind her. Oh, I don't like that because it's cluttering her up already. Maybe she won't have any behind her. Just show the feet over here. And their heads can be tucked behind the other guys. All of that clutters them up too. But now I know.
Less samurai.
Yeah, maybe I'll just have less samurai. I'm gonna just be 2 in the front and that'll be it. Or on this one, let's see. I did that way already. Let's go the other way. And let's put her right here. No, right here. And there's a railing that has all these little arches. So I can stick in the arches. See how not good I'm drawing? These are just doodles. Just ideas.
I wish my doodles were that good.
They will get good.
Keep doodling.
Just keep doodling. The main guy. Oops, he wouldn't be that big. Got a big head. Something like that.
Now, how is number 3 different than number 2? Oh,
Horizon line. So this one we couldn't see the pathway. This one we can see the pathway.
So you're below the horizon line.
Yes.
The horizon line is up on top of the paper, but on number 4, you put less people, even though the horizon line was up higher. Okay.
Yeah. Now on this one, let's see, where was the horizon line? Probably off the paper, probably up here. Whoops. So this is probably going to be a work on it by yourself project since we have about 15 minutes left. But of course, if you want to show me thumbnails, you want some feedback, I'm happy to give it.
Yeah, I want to see my thing I've been working on that
Yeah, let's see it.
Yep, let's see it.
Yes.
I don't like it at all, but you know, like I
gotta
gotta
start
keep
somewhere.
going, I guess.
Yeah, that's right.
Doodles.
Wait, is you seeing it now?
Yes.
Not yet.
I mean, it's black, but it says you've started screen share.
Yeah, there we go. Now we can see it.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, I like him coming through
Yeah, I
there.
think the framing is very, very bad.
Her hat's falling
Characters.
off. Cool.
Yeah, it's supposed to be she's stealing an egg.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
maybe a car.
Oh.
And that's why he's after her, of course.
Yes.
Oh, that's a neat idea.
Very neat.
I think maybe his body behind the bridge or the dragon or whatever. Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh. I think you could probably move the witch a little more over to the right. You might have to widen your canvas.
Right. So they're not.
So they're not
Right.
so much right on top of one another vertically.
Yeah.
You know, you've tried something that's really hard because you want some distance between them, which would normally mean the thing in the background is smaller. But he's so much bigger than her that he's going to
There's
be.
more than you think. Like about the size of like 2 people, like 1.5 people.
The dragon is small like that?
Yeah, no, the dinosaur. It's a
Oh, okay.
Carnotaurus or something like that.
So then it could be even smaller to put some more depth into your chase. Give her a little lead.
Cute idea.
So wait, now Betsy's working.
Yeah, I'm
on this
seeing
here.
if what I was talking about actually makes any sense. But sometimes it doesn't. So the only problem with my suggestion for you is that you'll have to draw way more backgrounds.
I don't want to do that at all.
Yeah, I have to do that. So,
How about a pile of eggs in the background?
What?
you could do that. Or you could just make it a wall rather than having the top of the wall.
Right, if she's flying, so she doesn't.
Yeah, she could be anywhere.
It could be a window he's going through.
Yeah, exactly. So what I would advise for you, Michaela, is to get another layer and sketch out a different composition so that you have more than one.
It's a good point. Good idea.
Wow, it puts the lines in for you.
No, I do it myself. It's
Ooh.
Oh,
like little guides and stuff.
nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's what she was teaching us last time about perspective, having all those lines and grids.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, it's really cool
Mm-hmm.
and very useful.
Cool. I'm going to end your screen share in case anybody else wants to
Oh, I am stopping.
show me what they've got so far.
Oh, that's a good idea with the whole dinosaur and she's just passing his mouth. That's cool.
Yeah, there's some different.
That'll eliminate a lot of background.
Yeah, if you don't want to do a lot of background, you just minimize the distance between
I
the
wonder
two
if I
things.
can screenshot in here.
You should be able to, yeah.
Yep, Betsy told me how I think it's delete. What was it, Betsy? Delete and
I think it was. No, I think it was control.
Probably control.
control, alt, delete, control.
No, not
Not
control.
control.
No, that's it.
No.
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 It might be different on PC though. I think yours was specifically for Mac.
For Mac, yeah.
But take a picture with your phone if all else fails.
We'll get it.
Anybody else want to show what they've done?
Oh, no, I've just been copying you, Betsy.
Yeah, it's all in my mind.
On
It's all in
Mac,
your mind. Okay, that's fine too.
yeah,
Check in next week. I'll definitely have to. Oh wait, we put that back up there, Stephanie.
We'll see
Look.
what you notes
Any
on.
old thing. I just want to.
Any
Oh,
old thing? Hey, look at that nice archway. Ooh.
I can't pin her.
You can't pin her?
la, 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 try now.
They just say chat. now.
Yeah, mine too.
Oh, really?
Who's sharing a screen?
You know why? Because you got to go up there to that little blue thing they put up there now. And hit that little blue thing with the 3 dots and then hit video.
No, there we go.
Oh, that worked. Okay, hold it up again. Now I'm looking at you.
I see, I just did her archway and then I've been drawing notes like a mad woman.
Yeah, I've got pages and pages of notes, but they haven't turned to thumbnails yet.
I need notes.
No.
I want an idea as good as Mikey's because that's a good idea.
Thanks.
Well, you have 10
Yeah.
minutes left. I'm going to challenge you. Draw one thumbnail.
Okay.
While we have 10 minutes left.
All right.
One thumbnail of what we are thinking of doing.
Yes. Of your own story. Don't copy me. Of your own story.